The colonies across the solar system had seen better days. After the cosmic storm, entire cities on Mars and Europa were left in ruin. Habitats were damaged, energy systems failed, and communication networks were unreliable at best. Humanity, despite centuries of progress, felt vulnerable in ways they had never imagined. People looked to the stars with hope but also fear. Their own technology, once a source of pride, had proven fragile against the forces of the universe. In the midst of this uncertainty, a fleet appeared near the edge of the solar system. At first, humans assumed it was another failed attempt at colonization by a rival nation or corporation. But as the ships drew closer, their design became clear: sleek, elegant, and unlike anything humanity had ever built. They moved with a grace that defied the rules of physics as humans knew them. On the bridge of the space station Horizon, Commander Lena Torres and her team watched the fleet with a mixture of awe and anxiety. "They're not ours," she said softly, her eyes fixed on the view screen. "No human technology moves like that." The ships hovered silently, then a signal was sent, a beam of light that pierced the station's sensors. Translation software struggled for a moment, then words appeared. "We are the Valari. We come in peace. We wish to assist." The announcement was met with disbelief. "Assistance?" muttered Dr. Kiran Shah, chief scientist. Why would aliens help us?" But before skepticism could take hold, the Valari began their work. Within hours, relief pods and repair drones descended on damaged colonies. They moved with efficiency that made human teams look clumsy in comparison. Habitats that had taken decades to build were stabilized in days. Energy grids hummed back to life, and life support systems that had teetered on the brink of collapse were restored. Despite the astonishing progress, the Valari remained humble. They did not take credit. They did not demand payment. They simply worked, always communicating their intentions with clarity and patience. Their presence felt almost spiritual to some, a silent reassurance that the universe was not as lonely as humans once thought. Yet not everyone was entirely comfortable. A council meeting convened on Earth to discuss the implications. "We can't just trust them blindly," argued General Mark Vey. "They could have motives we don't understand. Advanced technology comes with conditions. We need safeguards." Dr. Shah shook his head. "Look at the results. Our colonies are functioning again. People are alive who wouldn't be without them. Sometimes help comes without strings. We need to remember that." Commander Torres remained quiet, observing both sides. She had seen the Valari in action, had witnessed the way they moved through disaster zones with calm precision. There was no malice in them, only purpose. Still, the human instinct to question, to protect, was strong. Meanwhile, on Mars, the Valari worked alongside human engineers. A young technician named Arjun Patel watched in fascination as one Valari being extended a hand, not to touch, but to guide. Energy flowed from the aliens' fingertips in patterns Arjun had only seen in equations. Cracks in the habitat walls shimmered, then sealed themselves. "How are they doing that?" Arjun whispered to his colleague. "They're not doing it like us," said the colleague. "They're not limited by the same rules. It's art and science at the same time." The Valari's methods were unlike anything humans had encountered. Their technology seemed alive, responsive, and intelligent. Instruments adapted to the task. Tools anticipated the engineer's intent. And even the most damaged structures reformed with seemingly effortless precision. But what fascinated the humans most was not the technology itself. It was the way the Valari moved through problems. Where humans saw obstacles, the aliens saw possibilities. Where humans hesitated, the Valari acted with confidence rooted in knowledge that humans could not yet comprehend. In the colonies, gratitude was immediate and overwhelming. Children waved at Valari drones that floated past like tiny moons. Elderly residents smiled with tears as their homes, once cracked and crumbling, were restored. Humanity had always dreamed of extraterrestrial life, but not like this. These were not conquerors nor silent observers. These were helpers, guides, allies. And yet, amidst the miracles, there was a subtle lesson. The Valari, though offering aid, never did the work entirely for the humans. They demonstrated, guided, and inspired, but they always left room for human hands to finish the task. It was as if they understood that assistance without growth was empty. One evening, Commander Torres walked the repaired corridors of the Horizon station. She watched a Valari being guide a young human engineer, showing her how to stabilize an energy conduit. "They're teaching us, she said aloud. Dr. Shah, walking beside her, nodded. Not just technology. They're teaching us to think differently, to imagine solutions we wouldn't consider on our own. Torres smiled faintly, thinking about the larger implications. If this is just the beginning, then humanity might be stronger than we realized. The Valari themselves communicated little about their own world. Their ships were like floating cities, humming with life, yet entirely alien. Their motivations were simple: help, guide, and observe. They did not interfere with human culture or politics. They did not impose. They simply lent a hand, expecting nothing in return. For humans, it was both humbling and exhilarating. Centuries of competition, conflict, and ego had taught humanity to measure worth in power, wealth, and conquest. Here was a species that measured it in understanding, cooperation, and empathy. And yet humans were learning quickly. In the workshops on Europa, engineers began combining human and Valari methods. Where humans relied on brute force mechanical systems, the Valari used energy harmonics. Together, the two approaches created hybrid systems that were stronger, faster, and more resilient than either alone. Arjun Patel stood back one evening, looking at a newly stabilized habitat dome. We're really doing it, he whispered. We're working with them, not just following them. And that, said his colleague, is the start of something we can't even imagine yet. But even as humans adapted, curiosity stirred. How did the Valari develop such technology? What principles governed their energy systems? Why were they so calm, so patient, so wise? These questions ignited the scientific community. Teams of humans poured over the Valari systems, not to steal but to learn, and the Valari responded. They did not withhold, but they also did not explain everything. Instead, they allowed humans to explore, to make mistakes, and to discover solutions in their own way. Each revelation brought pride, not just to individuals but to humanity as a whole. By the end of the first cycle, the colonies were thriving again. Humans were healthier, safer, and more connected than they had been in decades. The Valari watched from their ships, silent observers to human ingenuity. They did not need to intervene anymore. Humans were beginning to meet challenges on their own, and in that the Valari found something unexpected. A spark of creativity, courage, and resilience that no algorithm could predict. The humans were not just recipients of aid, they were partners, capable of repaying help in ways the aliens could not yet imagine. Commander Torres, standing on the observation deck of the horizon, gazed at the stars. They came to help, she said softly. But I think we might teach them something too. Dr. Shah, looking over her shoulder, smiled. Something about humanity that can't be measured, predicted, or copied. Something truly ours. As the night sky shimmered with distant planets and the soft glow of Valari ships, humanity realized that their place in the universe had changed. They were no longer just survivors in a vast, indifferent cosmos. With guidance, ingenuity, and heart, they had begun a partnership that might shape the future of the galaxy itself. And so, the first chapter of this new era came to a close. Not with a battle or conquest, but with understanding, cooperation, and the quiet thrill of possibility. Humanity had accepted help, but the real story was only beginning. The first weeks after the Valari's arrival had been a whirlwind. Habitats rebuilt, energy grids restored, and communication lines repaired. Humanity had survived the storm. But survival was only the beginning. Now came the harder task: learning, adapting, and growing. Human scientists and engineers gathered in the largest space station orbiting Mars, the Astrodome, for the first formal collaboration with the Valari. Dozens of human teams were paired with Valari mentors. Each pair was assigned a complex project: stabilizing plasma conduits, improving life support systems, or redesigning power storage units. The Valari didn't dictate solutions. Instead, they guided humans, offering subtle hints, shifting energy patterns, or demonstrating abstract techniques that humans could attempt to mimic. Dr. Kiran Shah watched one of these sessions closely. A group of human engineers struggled to stabilize a delicate plasma flow. A Valari, tall and luminous, extended its hands. Energy shimmered around its fingertips, bending and twisting in controlled patterns. The human engineers copied the motions, unsure at first, then gradually began to understand the rhythm. Slowly, the plasma stabilized. There, Arjun Patel exclaimed, wiping sweat from his brow. We did it? Yes, said Dr. Shah quietly, smiling. But notice, it wasn't just copying. You had to adjust, improvise, and react. That's human skill at work. The Valari nodded almost imperceptibly, as if acknowledging the truth in his words. They valued human creativity, even more than precision. Humans had something they themselves did not: intuition, and the ability to think outside logical patterns. Elsewhere, cultural exchanges flourished. Valari music, composed of layered harmonics and light frequencies, was shared with human musicians. The Valari appreciated human art too. The way humans expressed emotion through painting, sculpture, and music intrigued them deeply. While they had technology that could mimic beauty perfectly, it lacked the spontaneity, the surprises that humans created. Young students on Europa participated in interactive lessons, learning how Valari machines thought and adapted. Machines responded to touch, emotion, and voice, but they also required human reasoning to function at peak efficiency. Children laughed and experimented, sometimes causing minor malfunctions, but the Valari were patient. Each mistake was a lesson, each success a triumph. Yet not everything went smoothly. Some human engineers grew overconfident. They tried to reverse engineer Valari devices without understanding the underlying principles. One ambitious team attempted to modify an energy harmonics converter to amplify output. Initially it worked, but soon unpredictable fluctuations caused the system to shut down. Sparks flew, alarms blared, and the engineers panicked. A Valari approached calmly, extending a glowing hand toward the malfunctioning machine. Energy pulses stabilized the system in seconds. Then it turned to the humans, not with anger, but with a subtle gesture. Observe first, then act. From these small incidents, humans learned a valuable lesson. Curiosity must be tempered with patience. They began to appreciate the Valari method: careful observation, experimentation, and adjustment. Meanwhile, human explorers prepared for missions beyond the solar system. Using hybrid human-Valari technology, spacecraft capable of long-distance travel were built. These ships combined human engineering ingenuity with Valari energy systems. Humans supplied adaptive controls, mechanical ingenuity, and navigation strategies born from centuries of trial and error. Valari systems supplied energy efficiency, resilience, and automated response systems. Commander Lena Torres was chosen to lead the first exploratory team. Her crew consisted of human scientists, engineers, and a Valari mentor. Their mission: chart a newly discovered planetary system in a distant star cluster and determine if it could support life, or serve as a refuge in case another cosmic disaster struck. As they prepared, tensions and excitement mingled. Humans were proud of their new skills, but also aware of how much they relied on Valari guidance. "We've learned a lot," Arjun Patel said during a briefing. "But this will really test us. Out there, no one can step in and fix things instantly." The Valari mentor, luminous and serene, responded with a pattern of colors along its body, a gesture humans had learned to interpret as encouragement. It was a silent promise they had taught, but now humans must apply what they had learned on their own. The journey to the new star system was smooth, but not without challenges. Human pilots handled gravitational anomalies with precision. Engineers adapted Valari energy fields to shield the ship from micrometeoroid showers. Along the way, the crew encountered phenomena that defied human expectations: shimmering plasma storms, floating ice formations, and sudden bursts of exotic particles. Each obstacle required teamwork, quick thinking, and creativity. Dr. Shah, monitoring from mission control on Mars, felt a swell of pride. "They're applying what they learned, not just copying. That's the real skill," he said to Lena Torres during a brief communication window. "Adaptation, improvisation, that's human strength." On the planetary system itself, the explorers faced their first major test. One of the moons, seemingly solid from a distance, was riddled with unstable terrain and volatile gases. Traditional human mapping tools were useless. Valari sensors provided partial data, but the environment was unpredictable. It was Arjun Patel who suggested a solution no one had considered: using small human-deployed drones to read the gas currents and relay feedback in real time, while Valari energy fields stabilized weak ground patches. The combined approach worked perfectly. The explorers walked safely across the dangerous terrain, mapping the moon for the first time. The Valari were intrigued. Humans had taken guidance, adapted it, and created a solution that even the aliens had not predicted: Their mentors transmitted a sequence of glowing patterns, Valari applause, something reserved for moments of ingenuity. Back in the solar system, humanity began applying these lessons to domestic life. Energy systems, transportation, and construction incorporated hybrid technology. Humans had learned that the Valari way was not merely about efficiency, it was about flexibility, resilience, and imagination. Cultural integration deepened. Artists created works inspired by Valari energy fields. Children played games incorporating alien physics. Engineers debated the philosophical implications of machines that could think. Humans were not just surviving with alien help, they were evolving with it. Yet subtle challenges persisted. Not all humans adapted at the same pace. Some leaders worried about dependence on Valari guidance. Some questioned if the lessons could be sustained if the Valari ever left. Commander Torres addressed these concerns repeatedly. We are learning, yes. But what makes us human is not just knowledge, it's our creativity, courage, and determination. Even without the Valari, those qualities will endure. They are ours. Dr. Shaw agreed, adding, and remember, we're not just learning their technology. We're learning a way to think differently. That is priceless. As months passed, humans became increasingly independent. They began designing their own energy systems, exploring new planets and creating solutions that combined the best of human and Valari knowledge. While the Valari continued to assist, humans now took the lead in many projects. In one notable breakthrough, a team on Mars developed a hybrid energy generator that could power entire colonies with minimal resources. It incorporated Valari energy harmonics, but the structure, controls, and safety protocols were entirely human-designed. The Valari were fascinated, not merely by the results but by the approach. They had shown the humans the way, and the humans had taken it further in ways the aliens could not have imagined. By the end of the year, the relationship had transformed. Humans were no longer passive recipients of alien aid. They were active partners, learners, creators, and innovators. The Valari had come with the intention to help. Humans had repaid that help with something far more profound: adaptation, insight, and a spark of ingenuity that the universe had never seen before. From the Astrodome observation deck, Commander Torres gazed at the stars with a new sense of purpose. We're ready for what's out there, she said softly. We've learned, we've adapted, and now we can face anything. Dr. Shaw joined her, eyes bright with excitement. And the Valari, they don't just see us as students anymore. We're partners. That's something no one could have predicted. The stars twinkled silently, distant but full of possibilities. Humanity had grown in ways that went beyond technology. They had learned to think, to adapt, and to innovate. And in doing so, they had begun to repay the Valari's help in the only way humans could, with courage, creativity, and the kind of unpredictable brilliance that only humans could provide. The future stretched out, vast and uncharted, but humanity was ready. Together with their alien allies, they would explore, survive, and create in ways no one had ever imagined. And somewhere, in the quiet hum of alien technology and human ingenuity, the universe seemed to take notice. For months, humanity had thrived with Valari guidance. Colonies were stronger than ever. Hybrid technologies were in use, and humans had begun to innovate in ways the aliens could not have predicted. But peace in the cosmos was fragile, and the universe, as always, had its own plans. Dr. Kiran Shah was the first to notice the anomaly. While monitoring deep space sensors from the Astrodome, he observed irregular gravitational waves approaching the solar system. It's enormous, he whispered, eyes fixed on the data. Not a comet, not an asteroid. Something bigger. Commander Lena Torres joined him, reading over his shoulder. How big are we talking? Shah hesitated. A rogue black hole. Its trajectory. It's heading this way. It could reach us within months if we don't act. The announcement sent shockwaves through human leadership. Generals, scientists, engineers, and Valari alike gathered for emergency consultations. The Valari, despite their advanced understanding of the cosmos, admitted a limitation. Even with their technology, the scale and speed of this cosmic intruder made it impossible for them to neutralize it alone. Humans listened, the weight of responsibility heavy on their shoulders. This was a threat unlike any they had faced before. Not a local disaster, not a failing system. They were staring at an event that could destroy entire worlds. And yet fear did not paralyze them. Instead, it sparked the familiar human drive, determination, creativity, and ingenuity. "Then we'll solve it," Commander Torres said firmly. "We've adapted, learned, and grown. Now it's our turn to act." Teams of human scientists began brainstorming, using the hybrid human Volari technologies they had developed. Ideas range from gravitational deflection arrays to energy harmonics shields, but every suggestion carried a risk. Volari energy alone could stabilize small regions of space, but redirecting a black hole required precise calculations, constant adjustments, and instantaneous improvisation, something no alien logic could predict. It was Arjun Patel, now a lead engineer, who proposed an audacious solution. "We can combine the Volari energy fields with human-controlled gravitational anchors. The anchors will give us flexibility. The Volari fields provide stability, but we'll need humans piloting every anchor, adjusting in real time. There's no room for error." The Volari mentor observed quietly, its luminous form pulsing softly. This was a human solution, bold, unpredictable, and imaginative. The aliens could anticipate patterns, but they could not account for human ingenuity in real time. And in that moment, they realized the true potential of humanity. Audacity paired with quick thinking. Preparation for the operation began immediately. Space stations were retrofitted with anchor platforms, and hybrid generators were constructed to stabilize energy flows. Human pilots underwent grueling simulations, learning to adjust gravitation anchors under extreme conditions. Volari guidance was present, but the execution relied on human intuition. As the black hole drew closer, suspense gripped the solar system. Every day, the anomaly's gravitational pull affected satellites, planets, and even the sun's outer atmosphere. Minor tremors rocked colonies on Mars and Europa, a constant reminder of the stakes. On the day of the operation, human teams deployed across multiple stations. Commander Torres led one anchor platform near Jupiter, where the gravitational forces were strongest. Arjun Patel commanded another near Saturn, his hands moving over controls with practiced precision. Each human pilot carried the weight of entire worlds on their shoulders. The operation began. Anchors deployed, Volari energy fields activated, and the combined system began to influence the black hole's trajectory. At first it worked smoothly, but then, fluctuations in the gravitational waves created instability. Alarms blared and the black hole shifted slightly off course. "Adjust manually," Torres shouted to her team. "Compensate for the flux." Human pilots reacted instantly. Each adjustment required intuition, calculation, and coordination. One misstep could send the black hole careening toward the solar system. Arjun Patel noticed an opportunity. By aligning the anchors in a triangular formation, they could redirect the anomaly more efficiently. It was risky, no simulation had predicted this scenario, but he trusted human improvisation. "Form the triangle." "Now," he commanded. Across vast distances, other teams followed the instructions. The Volari observed silently, marveling at the humans' rapid decision-making and adaptability. Their own systems could stabilize energy, but human creativity provided solutions that pure logic could not. The black hole responded slowly, its trajectory bending as the hybrid system exerted force. Suspense hung in the void. Every second mattered. One anchor faltered. An unexpected gravitational spike threatened to destabilize the network. A pilot on the Europa platform acted instinctively, redirecting energy manually and preventing disaster. Gradually, the system stabilized. The black hole's path shifted, bypassing the solar system and nearby alien worlds. Humanity had succeeded. The relief was palpable, though tempered by the knowledge of what could have happened. In the aftermath, Volari leaders approached human teams. Their usual calm luminescence glowed brighter, a sign of approval and wonder. "Your species," one Volari communicated through color patterns, "responded in ways we could not anticipate. Your courage, creativity, and coordination, it is remarkable." Humans, exhausted but proud, exchanged quiet smiles. They had faced a cosmic threat, relying on knowledge learned from aliens but executed with human intuition. They had proved that the combination of guidance and improvisation was a force even the universe had to respect. Commander Torres addressed her crew. "This was more than a victory against a black hole. We have shown that humanity is capable of rising to any challenge, no matter the scale. That's what makes us strong. That's what makes us uniquely human. Dr. Shah, observing the operations from Mission Control, nodded in agreement. We learned from the Valari, yes. But the way we applied it? That was all human. That's what they couldn't have predicted, and perhaps never could. Across the solar system, celebrations were muted but meaningful. Colonies resumed daily life. Engineers documented lessons learned, and students watched broadcasts of human ingenuity in action. The Valari, for their part, offered congratulations but no patronizing words, only respect and acknowledgement of what humans had accomplished. This event also deepened the bond between species. Humans realized that true partnership required not just receiving help, but contributing in ways that surpassed expectation. Valari technology provided tools, but human creativity and courage had provided the solution. Both species had grown, learning from each other in ways that neither could have predicted. Yet in quiet moments, humans reflected on the fragility of the cosmos. The black hole was one of countless dangers lurking in space. They had survived, yes, but survival required constant learning, vigilance, and daring. Commander Torres often looked at the stars, thinking about what lay beyond. We can handle this, she said softly to herself. We adapted before and we adapted now. Whatever comes next, we'll face it. Together with the Valari and as humans, with all the ingenuity and courage we possess. The Valari, observing humanity's response, understood something profound. Aid can be given, guidance offered, and technology shared. But there was a spark in humans that no alien logic could replicate. Imagination, adaptability, and courage made humans unpredictable, and in a universe of uncertainty, unpredictability was a strength. As night fell across Mars, Earth and the other colonies, humans and Valari alike, took a moment to rest. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new discoveries, and perhaps new threats. But humanity had proven one undeniable truth. When pushed to the edge of cosmic peril, they would rise, improvise, and overcome. And in the quiet glow of hybrid technology, humans felt something they had never felt before. Pride. Not arrogance, not superiority, but the quiet, steady pride of a species capable of meeting the universe on its own terms, and of repaying assistance with courage and creativity that no one, alien or human, had ever imagined. The threat had passed, but the lesson endured. The universe was vast, unpredictable, and sometimes terrifying. But humanity had begun to show that it was equal to the challenge, not because of alien help alone, but because of what made them human. And somewhere in the cosmos, the Valari looked on, quietly amazed, realizing that the humans they had come to help had now become true partners. Partners who could face anything, and who had already repaid their guidance in ways the aliens could scarcely imagine. The rogue black hole had passed, but the universe still held dangers that humans and Valari could not ignore. Humanity had proven its courage and ingenuity, yet new challenges were approaching. Deep space sensors now detected a series of cosmic anomalies, unpredictable energy surges and gravitational fluctuations threatening nearby star systems. It was clear the solar system could not remain vulnerable. A final, large-scale countermeasure had to be designed, one that combined all the knowledge, skills, and creativity humanity had gained. Commander Lena Torres called a meeting on the Astrodome. Scientists, engineers, pilots, and Valari mentors filled the room, each one aware of the stakes. On the screen floated simulations of energy surges, unstable planetary orbits, and potential threats to colonies. The challenge was unprecedented. We can't just react, Torres said firmly. We need a system that anticipates, adapts, and stabilizes. And we need humans at the heart of it. No one knows unpredictability like us. Dr. Kiran Shah nodded. We have the knowledge, the hybrid technology, and the imagination. But this will test us like never before. The plan was ambitious. A network of hybrid gravitational anchors and Valari energy fields spread across the solar system. Each anchor required a human pilot to make real-time adjustments, while Valari systems maintained stability and power. The goal: to protect all major planets, colonies, and satellites from the cascading anomalies. Preparation began immediately. On Mars, engineers retrofitted massive anchor platforms with hybrid energy cores. On Europa, teams worked on control nodes that could synchronize with the Valari energy fields. On orbital stations, pilots trained relentlessly, simulating every possible scenario. Every mistake was logged and corrected. Every success brought confidence. Arjun Patel, now experienced from previous missions, led a squadron of pilots assigned to Jupiter's orbit. The planet's immense gravity made deployment dangerous, but Arjun thrived on challenges. "We've faced the impossible before," he said to his team. "This time we won't just survive, we'll excel." Across the system, humans demonstrated innovation at every turn. One team discovered a way to combine Volari energy harmonics with human-engineered propulsion to stabilize moving anchors. Another devised a system to predict energy surges using a combination of human intuition and Volari sensors. The Volari, usually calm and methodical, observed with genuine admiration. These humans who had once needed guidance now contributed solutions that the aliens themselves had not considered. Their creativity, daring, and willingness to improvise made the countermeasure stronger than the Volari's calculations alone. When the day of deployment arrived, the solar system was tense, but ready. Each anchor station hummed with energy. Pilots sat poised at controls, and the Volari prepared to amplify the fields. As Commander Torres coordinated operations from the Astrodome, she felt the weight of responsibility. The success of countless worlds rested on the next few hours. The first anchors deployed without issue. Energy harmonics stabilized planetary orbits and shielded colonies from minor anomalies. But as predicted, the situation escalated. A massive gravitational spike near Saturn threatened to destabilize several anchors. Alarms blared and pilot teams reacted instantly. Arjun Patel analyzed the problem. "The spike is moving faster than predicted," he said. "We need to form a new alignment now." Without hesitation, pilots adjusted their positions, shifting anchors into a triangular formation. Volari energy fields adapted to the new configuration, but it was human intuition and rapid decision-making that ensured success. The spike passed and stability returned, but only briefly. Across the solar system, new anomalies appeared almost simultaneously. Plasma surges near Mars, orbital fluctuations around Venus, and micrometeoroid storms near Earth. Each required immediate response. Pilots, engineers, and scientists worked in perfect coordination, improvising solutions that no algorithm could predict. Commander Torres coordinated communication between stations. "Use hybrid harmonics to stabilize Venus," she instructed. Mars team adjust the plasma shields manually. Europa, anticipate micrometeorite trajectories. We move as one. Humans executed orders with precision, combining learned Volari techniques with instinctive improvisation. Arjun Patel's team adjusted Jupiter's anchors on the fly, compensating for energy surges that no simulation had prepared them for. Elsewhere, engineers implemented last-minute adaptations to stabilize satellite systems threatened by gravitational ripples. Amid the chaos, small victories accumulated. Human pilots made decisions that no Volari system could have predicted. Engineers created rapid adaptations in real time. Scientists analyzed anomalies and offered solutions faster than any computer could process. The universe, for the first time, seemed to acknowledge humanity's ingenuity. Then came the critical moment. A massive energy surge threatened the stability of the central anchors around the sun itself. If these anchors failed, the countermeasure could collapse, endangering all planets and colonies. The tension was palpable. Commander Torres, coordinating with all stations, made a decision. "We'll need to take calculated risks. Arjun, I'm sending you in closer to the sun. You'll manually calibrate the central anchor while the Volari maintain the surrounding fields." Arjun hesitated for a moment, then nodded. "Understood. Let's do it." The journey to the sun's orbit was perilous. Radiation levels were extreme, and even the Volari's protective fields were being pushed to the limit. Yet Arjun and his team maneuvered the anchor into position, carefully adjusting energy harmonics in real time. Every action required focus, precision, and courage. One wrong move could be catastrophic. Minutes stretched like hours. Sweat dripped, hearts raced, and fingers moved with practiced efficiency. Slowly, the central anchor stabilized. Energy harmonics spread outward, reinforcing surrounding anchors. The solar system shuddered but held. Across all stations, cheers erupted. Human ingenuity and courage had prevailed. Colonies were safe, planets stabilized, and the solar system's network of anchors had successfully countered the anomalies. The Volari approached the human teams, glowing with admiration. Their usual calm presence seemed almost celebratory. "Your species," one Valari communicated, patterns of light shimmering across its body, "exceeded all expectations. Your intuition, courage, and coordination, it is remarkable." Humans exchanged glances, exhausted but proud. They had faced near impossible challenges and risen to the occasion. They had not only applied Valari guidance, they had transformed it, improvising and creating solutions no alien could have predicted. Commander Torres addressed all teams. "This victory is ours because of collaboration. Yes, but also because of human courage and creativity. We adapted, we improvised, and we faced the impossible together. That is what makes us human," Dr. Shaw added, "and what makes us a species that no challenge can fully predict. That unpredictability, the spark of ingenuity, is our greatest strength. Today we didn't just protect our worlds. We proved something larger, that humanity can rise to any challenge even when the universe seems insurmountable." In the following days, scientists and engineers continued refining the countermeasure system. Lessons learned during the operation were documented, new strategies developed, and human confidence soared. Children watching broadcasts of the operation imagined themselves as pilots and engineers. Inspired by human bravery and creativity, the Valari, for their part, expressed their admiration not in words alone, but in actions. They shared new techniques, subtle improvements, and insights that could further strengthen human systems. Yet they also knew that the humans had now reached a level of independence, an ability to face challenges without relying solely on alien guidance. Commander Torres stood on the observation deck of the Astrodome, watching the solar system glow with stability. "We did it," she said softly. "We faced the impossible and won. But more than that, we proved that we can solve problems no one expected us to solve." Dr. Shaw joined her, eyes bright with pride. "Yes, and the Valari? They didn't just see us as learners anymore. They see us as equals capable of repaying guidance with innovation, courage, and creativity." Across the solar system, humans and Valari alike took a moment to rest. The countermeasure had worked, but the universe remained vast and unpredictable. Still, humanity had shown that it could meet challenges head-on, combine guidance with ingenuity, and face the unknown with courage. And somewhere, in the quiet hum of hybrid energy systems and the glow of distant stars, a new understanding had been forged. The repayment of aid is not always measured in resources or technology. Sometimes it is measured in courage, creativity, and the ability to face the impossible. And humanity had demonstrated all three, in ways the Valari could not have imagined. The solar system was safe for now, but the adventure was far from over. Humanity had grown stronger, wiser, and more confident. They had learned that true strength lay not just in technology or knowledge, but in the spark of ingenuity, the courage to act, and the ability to improvise when no one else could. As night fell across colonies on Mars, Earth, and beyond, humans looked at the stars not with fear but with excitement. The universe was full of challenges, mysteries, and wonders, and for the first time, humanity knew they could face them all, with courage, creativity, and heart. The solar system had been secured, gravitational anomalies neutralized, hybrid anchors stabilized, and humanity had proven its courage and ingenuity. The Valari observed with quiet admiration, their luminous forms pulsing gently in approval, yet they had come to assist, expecting nothing in return. Their advanced technology, wisdom, and guidance had saved human colonies, but repayment, in the Valari understanding, was measured in tangible contributions, shared knowledge, energy, or resources. Humanity, however, had something the Valari could not predict: imagination, creativity, emotional insight, and in that, humans were about to repay aid in a way the Valari had never imagined. Commander Lena Torres convened a meeting of the human leaders, scientists, engineers, and Valari mentors. "We've shown what we can do when we face danger," she said. "But help doesn't end with survival. We need to give back, not with tools or energy, but with something uniquely human." Dr. Kiran Shah leaned forward. "We've already repaid in courage and innovation. But what if we take it further? What if we show the Valari something they've never experienced, something only humans can offer?" The room buzzed with anticipation. Artists, engineers, and scientists began collaborating, brainstorming ideas that combined aesthetics, emotion, and intellect. They proposed a project that would stretch across planets, a monumental creation celebrating cooperation, creativity, and imagination. The Valari watched curiously as humans set to work. Machines hummed, energy fields shimmered, and artists painted light and motion into patterns that seemed alive. Engineers adapted Valari technology to sculpt enormous structures in orbit. Children contributed designs inspired by dreams, imagination, and stories from Earth. The project was ambitious, a space sculpture spanning multiple orbits, visible from colonies across the solar system. It was a tribute not only to the Valari but also to the human spirit, resilience, courage, creativity, and the power of imagination. As the months passed, the sculpture took shape. Vast arcs of energy stretched between stations, sculpted into flowing forms inspired by wind, water, and movement. Light patterns danced along its surfaces, responding to music created by human and Valari musicians together. Holographic images of planets, stars, and human achievements intertwined with Valari motifs, creating a fusion of cultures, species, and ideas. The Valari, who had rarely displayed emotional responses, were visibly moved. Patterns of light shimmered across their bodies, pulsing in ways humans had learned to interpret as awe. They had helped humans survive, yes, but they had never seen anything like this. Art born from gratitude, creativity, and collaboration. Arjun Patel, overseeing one section of the sculpture, watched as a beam of energy twisted into a spiral, representing human ingenuity and adaptability. "It's alive," he whispered. "Like it's responding to us," Commander Torres smiled. "Exactly. It's not just a structure. It's a living testament to what we can do, together." The final stage involved a coordinated display across all human and Valari colonies. Light, music, and energy harmonics synchronized to create a spectacle that spanned the entire solar system. Observers from Mars, Earth, Europa, and the outer stations watched as the sculpture shimmered, pulsed, and transformed, telling a story without words. It was a story of survival, courage, partnership, and imagination. Valari scientists, who had studied humanity for months, were captivated. "We understood your logic," one communicated through luminous patterns. "We studied your technology, your bravery, but your creativity. This we could not anticipate." Children laughed and pointed at dancing lights, engineers marveled at the structural ingenuity, and artists reveled in the harmonious beauty of the combined work. For the first time, humans realized that true repayment of aid did not always require something material. Sometimes it was emotional, cultural, and intellectual, something that could inspire, touch hearts, and broaden minds. Commander Torres addressed the assembled teams. "We came to this partnership expecting guidance and support. We received much more than we could have imagined. Now we repay not with tools, but with the best of what makes us human: creativity, courage, and imagination." The Valari responded in kind. They extended energy tendrils into the sculpture, harmonizing with human music and light patterns. For a brief moment, the sculpture became a living bridge between species, a testament to what cooperation could achieve. Humans had repaid their debt in ways the Valari could not have predicted, and in doing so, they had taught their alien allies a new form of intelligence, emotional, cultural, and creative insight. As the display reached its climax, the humans and Valari stood together, witnessing something extraordinary. The sculpture reflected the sun's light across planets and moons, each shimmer telling a story: the courage of a pilot stabilizing an anchor near Jupiter, the creativity of engineers adapting alien technology, the imagination of children who designed light patterns inspired by dreams. Every observer could see themselves reflected in the work. The Valari leader communicated through a sequence of complex light pulses, a message of deep respect, admiration, and gratitude. Humans had not only repaid aid, they had expanded the Valari understanding of what a species could offer. It was an exchange of knowledge that transcended technology, a gift that would resonate across generations. Arjun Patel, exhausted but exhilarated, turned to Commander Torres. "We didn't just survive, did we? We gave something back, something that matters in a way they couldn't even predict." Torres nodded, eyes bright. "Yes, we repaid not with energy or tools, but with ourselves, our creativity, our courage, our imagination. That is what makes humanity extraordinary." Across the solar system, the bonds between humans and Valari deepened. Future projects would continue, combining technology, creativity, and exploration. But the lesson remained clear. Humanity's greatest strength was not in machines or knowledge alone, but in their unique spark, the ability to think beyond logic, to create beyond necessity, and to face challenges with courage, heart, and imagination. In the quiet aftermath, as stars glimmered across the void, humans reflected on what they had achieved. They had been offered help in times of crisis, but they had repaid it in ways that no alien technology could calculate. They had shown that aid can inspire, and that repayment can be a celebration of what makes each species unique. Dr. Shaw summed it up during a quiet conversation with Commander Torres. We were given a hand. We responded with everything that makes us human. That is the ultimate repayment, unexpected, creative, and unforgettable. Torres smiled, looking out at the sculpture shimmering across the solar system. And the universe saw it too. We survived, we learned, and now, we inspired. That is humanity's gift. The Valari, glowing softly, shared a moment of quiet acknowledgement. No words were needed. Humans had shown them that even in a universe governed by physics and logic, creativity, courage, and imagination could achieve miracles. The repayment had not been calculated, predictable, or required. It had been uniquely human, and that was its greatest power. And so the new era began. Humans and Valari worked side by side, exploring distant stars, solving cosmic mysteries, and creating wonders that neither species could have imagined alone. Humanity had repaid the kindness of alien allies, not with technology, not with force, but with the power of heart, imagination, and creativity. And in doing so, they had proven that the true measure of a species is not just what it can survive, but what it can inspire. Commander Torres, standing on the observation deck of the Astrodome, gazed out at the stars one final time. We didn't just survive. We didn't just learn. We gave back in ways no one could have predicted. That is humanity at its best. Dr. Shaw beside her smiled. And the universe knows it now. The Valari know it. And one day every star we reach will know it too. Above the solar system, the sculpture shimmered, alive with energy, light, and music, a permanent testament to human courage, creativity, and the indomitable spirit that had turned help into something beyond measure. Humanity had repaid their debt not in ways expected, but in ways that only they could. In the power of imagination, collaboration, and heart. And in that, the stars themselves seemed to shine a little brighter, reflecting the brilliance of a species that had faced the universe and responded with everything it meant to be human.